Anywho, Geek Mom has wearable clues, and it's all working out now. So this is the clue that goes into the wearable,
because
the
microbit,
breadboard, and it was a microbit.
Yeah, you get that RGB LED is pointing at the color sensor, and so she's actually changing the NeoPixel based on the color sensor built into the clue, which is neat because there's all these sensors that the clue has that the microbit does not.
Yeah.
You can do more advanced projects.
Okay, next up, you can check out all the new feathers. Ladina, maybe you can talk about this.
This is the upcoming super early, don't ask, it's not out yet, Feather M7 RT1011, designed by Arturo 168, I can't remember the number of his name, or 182, who's been doing a lot with the IMX NXP chipset. So this is a very inexpensive but very powerful chip. It runs at 500 megahertz. And we thought, hey, wouldn't it be cool to make this into a feather? It's very, very fast, and we can run CircuitPython on it. We already have a build of CircuitPython and working on having the UF2 bootloader as well. But basically what we wanted to do is try to get this like $1 chip onto a feather so we could get it onto the world, because I think a lot more people would use this chip if it was available, and it's coming soon. But very exciting. 4-layer board with a USB-C connector. Okay,
and this is one of the new Learn guides?
Mm-hmm. This is a new guide from Brian. This is the STM32F405 Feather running CircuitPython with an OLED display and a pressure sensor with a port on it. And the port has a tubing connected to it, and so we can turn it into a sip and puff sensor. And what's neat is that Brian did a really interesting structure where there's a callback system for different sip and puff strengths. So if you have like a weak sip or a strong puff, you'll get a callback, and then you can perform different functions based on what the pressure sensor measured. So this is for making alternative user interfaces, sometimes for accessibility, but also like Phil, you were thinking, what if you had a puppet that you could control some of it using your mouth? Like there was that musician who had a tube that went into his guitar. Can't remember the name of him off the top of my head. But so you can use the pressure of your mouth to, as a sensor to read and control other mechatronics, robotics, what have you.
Okay, and then just a little bit of an update. We have 214 libraries.
So many.
CircuitPython.
And even more contributed libraries.
And don't forget, coming up pretty soon, the Open Hardware Summit is in March. We have CircuitPython on the wearable watch badge.
Correct.
It is made by OshPark, SparkFun, DigiKey, and I think each participant will get one.
Yeah.
We also will have 3,000 clues at PyCon.
You'll get a clue there.
If you're at PyCon, we will have a clue for you. And that is the Python on Hardware news for this week.
Python on joysticks.
Yeah. Okay. I hope on it. Over on jobs.adafruit.com, 2 new jobs came up. These are companies that are looking for help. So this is a small job, contract basis, Arduino ESP8266. It's freelance. It's with Chicagotronics. And then the next one is a freelance individual work making thermal camera with alarm product, your pace. So that means your timing. And
great
freelance work anywhere in the U.S.
Great to get contract, remote work. You don't have to leave your home. You can be quarantined and still have a job. Check these out.
Okay. So if you haven't already, do check out jobs.adafruit.com. And like I said, you could post your skills up, or if you're a company looking for a cool maker or engineer or community manager or marketer or whatever, we have a pretty good success rate. A lot of people we know in the industry got their job from jobs.adafruit.com.
It's true. And there's also volunteer opportunities. If you want to volunteer or get volunteers, that's also a good place to post.
All right, time travel. Hey, look in the world. Makers, hackers, artists, and engineers. It would be I would be remiss if I didn't mention there is COVID going on.
It looks a little bit like me, the little pink hair going
COVID's going on. And we've been doing this show for over 10 years, so you can look back at everything that happened during Sandy. We kept everybody updated. Every time there's been some type of international, national, local, whatever it is, we try to make sure that we discuss it if it has something to do with our electronic maker community. So far, here's a COVID-19 update. Our supply chain has been fine. We have a very good predictive inventory system that we've worked really hard over the last 10 years. And because it was Chinese New Year, like it is every year, we not only over order, but we also do projections of what to order. So we actually had quite a bit of stuff ready to go in stock, and that's why you've been able to buy stuff every single day on Adafruit. And one thing we don't do is back orders. So if you place the order, we're shipping it. So we've been having pretty good in-stock percentages all throughout the month. The things that weren't shipping, like components and other things or PCBs, are shipping now. So we're able to...
So slowly, it's going to take another week or two, but we got circuit boards today, so we have some new products, and you'll see a bunch more new products. A bunch of stuff coming into stock. We're still going to do a couple coming soon while we're waiting. Yeah. But things are trickling in.
And we always have enough products in the pipeline. Like some weeks we have like 10 new products, some weeks we have 4. So we're in a good spot. We definitely try to be as robust as possible and kind of plan for the worst. After the tariffs happened, we tried to make sure our supply chain was diversified enough, so we do some manufacturing here in the U.S. We also have other partners in other states in the U.S. We also have overseas partners. We try to make sure that we're not just stuck doing one thing in one way, because the world seems to be pretty chaotic at times. I don't think it's ever not been chaotic, but I think it's just more apparent how chaotic is because of social media and the 24-hour news cycle and just how life is. So we did a good job with that. Now, here comes, other stuff.
Yeah.
So what we've told our teams is, so right now, San Francisco just like a few hours ago declared a city emergency because of the upcoming pandemic. No reported cases, but they're like, hey, everybody,
upcoming.
Get ready. Yeah, right before we got on air in Nassau County, which is like Long Island, they said there's people that are self-quarantining, no positive results for any test yet, but they're just making sure because they were in areas that may have had that. So in our internal teams, we're really good at working remotely. We have anyone on the team pretty much has that as part of their employment here. If they can work remotely, we've always managed to work it out in some way. So that's taken care of. We also have a lot of team members that are not even in the state of New York, and business as usual for them. We also made sure that all the team members have all the information they need. We always, we're really sanitary here, so we always have, there's lots of hand washing.
There's so much hand
lots
washing.
of things. We've already gone through that with the training with the teams because it's always important to us. We have really good housekeeping and janitorial staff that takes care of Adafruit every single day. So all that stuff is really important to us, and we'll continue to give everyone updates. But I want to say, I think everything's going to be, don't go crazy at all. However, do know that there is going to be uncertainty ahead. Every day is different. And we'll do our best. When Sandy shut down half of New York, we were doing updates. We made a smart decision, and we did not have our servers in the same location as our company. So we were able to take orders of the stuff that were in stock, but eventually, that stopped. So after a couple weeks, we were back in business. So that's all the stuff we're doing. If there's any updates for customers, like if anything's going to get delayed in any way, we'll let everyone know on our blog. Our team's completely trained up. So I feel like we're doing the best possible thing. We're going to continue to do that. We'll see.
Yeah, outside of our control.
We'll see.
So all we can do is control what we can.
Yeah. One other thing, I think this is good for friends and family. If people are looking for information, go to CDCgov. That's pretty much the best place.
Yeah.
Especially if you want to know what you should do if you're an employer or if you're someone who's going to travel soon. One of the really important things, no matter where you are in the country, because you never know where, sometimes it popcorns, it's the term where it clusters. If you're someone who has kids, just figure out in advance what happens if there's a school closure. How do you take care of childcare? There's all this stuff that it's a good idea to just have a preparation plan.
Yeah.
So
you're not surprised, I never thought that could happen. Yeah.
Sometimes it snows here in New York and there's snow closures, so we have to figure that out. So this is just a good time to go through what is your preparation, what's your plan for all this. So the CDC.gov site has a lot of good materials. One thing I've heard, unfortunately, is when you look at the news, sometimes they accidentally say CDC.gov, and that's just a domain name for sale.
CDC.com?
Yeah, CDC.com, sorry.
Yeah. So go to CDC.gov.
Yeah, and I see them say it, go to CDC.com, and just, no! So CDC.gov has all the information.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, thank you for everyone in the chat who posted that up. All right, Next up, we are an open source hardware company, and
It's
we
true.
have an announcement. We mentioned this before, but we wanted to mention it now because we have a guide. We'll talk about that soon. Adafruit is now part of the Zephyr project, the open source ecosystem. So we're excited. They just did their social media rounds and everything. What a cool time. So part of
Yes,
Linux
thanks,
Foundation.
Kate.
Yeah, thank you, Kate. What a cool time to do stuff because Zephyr looks like a lot of the chip makers that we work with are choosing that.
We're doing a lot of Nordic,
Yeah, and-
STM.
Looks like that's the way they're going. So we wanted to join
IoT is the future.
Zephyr
Every
project.
chip.
Yeah, we want to join the Zephyr project. So one, we have a way to know what's going on. We can keep up to date, and if there's decisions that they want our input for, we have a way to do that.
That's right. We call into the weekly
Yeah, Scott's been
meeting.
doing that. So next up, I mentioned that we're an open source hardware company. One of the things that we have that goes along with all that open source hardware is 2,137 guides. Lady Ada, what were the guides this week?
Okay, so this week we had a guide on how to blink an LED using Zephyr. So it's getting started with the Zephyr RTOS. That's by Lucian, and that's using our STM32 F405 Feather. STM32 is well supported in Zephyr, but he added like a variant for the Feather board, which is also kind of exciting. So we're starting to contribute back to Zephyr. This basically tells you how to get started. It's a little bit like Arduino in some ways, and it's very powerful. And especially as we do more with chips that have Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, you're going to really see the power of something like Zephyr come out. We also have a guide from JP on making CircuitPython BLE advertising beacons. So you can turn your Circuit Playground, Bluefruit, your Itsy Bitsy Bluefruit, or any of our NRF52840 CircuitPython boards into an Eddystone beacon to transmit a URL. And he shows you how to do that either just by transmitting a single URL or using buttons and just the display on the clue board to cycle through various URLs. So a handy, this was a really big thing a couple years ago, making Bluetooth beacons. Now you can try it out for your own, and it's super easy with CircuitPython. We also have a big project, the Peloton CircuitPython cycling computers. This is a play on the Peloton bicycle where this is a bicycle computer that you can strap onto your stationary bike or a moving bike if you like, but it's designed for stationary bikes. You connect it to your heart rate meter. You can connect it to Bluetooth, cadence, and wheel speed sensors on your bicycle. And you can even pair it with your phone to see what music is being played, and you can use the buttons to control next and previous song. So you can go through your music without having to reach for your phone, which is a little bit more dangerous than just pressing a button on your handlebar. A lot of code went into this to manage multiple BLE connections, to calculate the heart rate and cadence and how fast you're going in miles per hour. This is a project by Dylan H., who is doing some projects for us in CircuitPython. And then JP wrote up the guide, so it was a collaboration. And Noah and Pedro will be publishing a guide on the 3D printed case in a week or two.
Okay. Some main New York City factory footage. Take it away. Adafruit Factory. And it wouldn't be Adafruit factory footage without a view of the construction outside our windows here. That's what it looks
Is it a
like.
building made for ants?
Well, I believe Disney, who owns that property across the street, owns the series Ants, or Ant-Man, or a variety of characters
Ant-based technology.
throughout history that have an ant in it.
Yeah.
I think they own it all now. Okay, 3D printing. Let's see what Noah and Pedro did this week. This week's video is a Circuit Playground Bluefruit Express video along with how the app works. And then we're going to show the really cool Doctor Who based speed up. So you'll see that. So we'll play them back to back. We'll see you on the other side.
All right, see you soon.
Hey, what's up folks? In this video we're taking a look at Adafruit's Circuit Playground Bluefruit. This dev board is great for folks just getting started with electronics and programming. It's got tons of onboard sensors like an accelerometer, a temperature sensor, a speaker, a PDM mic, and 10 Neopixels. It features the NRF52840 with an M4 Cortex processor for wireless Bluetooth connectivity. With the Bluefruit Playground app, you can interact with the board in lots of fun and interesting ways. It's designed for iOS devices, so you can use an iPhone or an iPad to download the app for free from the App Store. You can download the UF2 file from the Learn Guide and drag and drop to install it on your board. The welcome screen walks you through the setup and helps you get started. With the firmware installed, you can select the device from the list to start pairing. You can explore different modules to get an idea of what type of projects you can make. Use the puppet mode to puppeteer Sparky, the blue smoke monster. You can open and close his mouth and press the buttons to trigger different animations. This uses the onboard accelerometer to detect the orientation. The tone generator lets you play notes like a piano so you can create musical projects. The Neopixel mode lets you trigger different animations, and the color picker lets you change up the colors. And that's just a few of the awesome things you can do with the Playground app for Circuit Playground Bluefruit. There's tons of projects on Adafruit's learning system, so you can browse and find something you really want to build or make something new. The featured Learn Guide has all of the documentation you need, so you can learn how to use all of the onboard sensors and pinouts. With the large touchpads, you can easily connect a strip of Neopixels using alligator clips. We think these projects are great for classrooms and workshops, so you can use the Learn Guides to help teach folks about programming electronics. With CircuitPython, you can write your Python code to quickly develop projects. With Adafruit's demo code and libraries, you can make BLE projects that can connect and control other BLE devices. Head over to circuitpython.org to download the latest version for your hardware. There's multi-language support, so you can select your preferred language and download the latest firmware. You can double press reset to get the board into bootloader mode. Then just drag and drop the file to automatically flash the new firmware. It shows up like a USB drive, so all of your code and libraries are accessible on any computer with USB. There's tons of other features and supported programming languages, so definitely check out the Learn Guide. Links are in the description. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more products from Adafruit.
And don't forget 3D Hangouts. No Pedro will return next week, so 11 a.m. Eastern Time on Thursdays.
More extruding to come.
Yep, so learn how to make all that stuff you just saw. All right, Lady Ada. Well, the code is NeoWing. Don't forget, 10% off all the way up to 11:59 p.m. tonight, except for AdaBox. or gift certificates or Codecademy courses. And it once again helps support us, a manufacturing company in New York City. No loans, no venture capital, independent, profitable, just only because y'all buy stuff once in a while. So buy something once in a while.
Thanks.
That's all you gotta do. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
That's good. All right, well, first up, we'll probably be shipping AdaBox only a little bit later because of the international shipping issues and supply chain things, but that doesn't mean you can wait any longer. We have less than 100 openings, so go to adabox.com and go pick up an AdaBox. Next up.
All right, we've got some coming soon new products. So we've got 2 submersible pumps. These are used for water fountains, like low-cost desktop fountains or like little like outdoor fountains. But they're also great for plant watering projects. We actually got these to match up with our Bonsai Buckaroo friend for Microbit and Clue to do plant watering projects. So these are pumps where you actually put them inside a bucket of water and then they pump water out through the little spout. And so I can show on the overhead an example. These are different than like our peristaltic pumps where there's 2 tubes, one input, one output. This pump actually goes inside, you can see it goes inside the bucket of water here. And then we have these tubes that connect. And I can try a live demo. This wasn't working, but maybe if I'm lucky. Okay. So you can see water gets pumped out. This project's only pumping out water every few seconds. You can get me wet here. But it can actually do, like quite a bit of water. If you turn it on, it'll pour out, maybe like a gallon in a minute or so. So good for making fountains, plant watering projects, not good for water that you're going to drink or anything that's not water. So like don't put it into soda or lemonade or alcohol, whatever. If you want to do projects where people consume the liquid, use our peristaltic pumps because you can use food safe vinyl, and of course the liquid doesn't go through the pump itself. So we have 2 types, a vertical type and a horizontal type. Basically depends on how it stands. They're basically the same pump, it's just the plastic is a little bit different.
Okay, it looks like we have some tube.
And we have some vinyl tubing that goes with the pump. So again, this is not food safe. This is PVC with stuff in it. It's good for making fountains. It's good for making plant watering projects or hydroponic projects. But it's very easy to cut. It's just vinyl tubing.
All right, next up.
Next up, we have the Garmin Light V4. So we carry a couple of LiDARs that are like laser distance sensors from Garmin, and they're also making light-based distance sensors. So I think these are probably IR light that's lensed and bounced off of an object, and then the amount of strength, or maybe the time of flight of the light is what's measured. This doesn't use a laser, even though it's called a LiDAR. I guess these days people say LiDAR for any light-based distance measurement, but a lot of people think it means a laser. This is an IR LED-based solution, not a true laser, but it's a lot less expensive because of that. What's interesting about this is it's got an nRF52840 inside of it, and it exposes the SWD pins. So you can actually reprogram the chip inside, say with Arduino, or, I guess you could probably try to figure out how to do it with CircuitPython, but note that the USB pins are not exposed. So you can do Bluetooth Low Energy type stuff with it for advanced development with the Nordic chipset, where you're reading the data from the sensor and then transmitting it wirelessly. But for most people, they'll just use the I2C interface that's available on those pins. You can see there's like 10 pins. Check out the data sheet for the pin out, but there's like power ground, I2C, and then some other pins, some GPIO pins, and then SWD reprogramming and debug. Okay, we also have this nifty cable. This cable is an interesting cable. Let me grab my demo. Okay, so this is a JST SH 5-pin to 4-pin adapter cable. Let me get in there and I can show this demo. Okay, so on the overhead, you see here I have, well, it's upside down, but you have a MKR0. So these are the Arduino-based boards that are used for like IoT projects. They have a whole bunch of different ones. They have cellular ones, they have Wi-Fi ones. They have like ones that do LoRa. They have ones that do Sigfox. This is the MKR0, so it's a SAMD21 chip. And the Maker boards, a lot of them have these like 5-pin connectors. And people are like, what are these connectors? Well, this connector actually has 5-volt ground and I2C connections available. And so this cable takes those pins and then converts them into a STEMMA QT. So you can use it with any of our boards that say STEMMA QT on the back or the front. However, I do want to make a caveat note. So the power pin on this is 5 volts, not 3 volts. And all of the STEMMA QT breakouts we have contain a voltage regulator on the back here. So it converts the 5 volts into 3 volts. So you can safely use this to power this OLED or whatever sensors we have that are on the STEMMA QT breakout. However, if you're using this and you want to use this with a SparkFun Quick board, a lot of them don't have any regulators on them. And so you just have to be aware of that you don't want to plug this into something that isn't safe to use with 5-volt power. And our QT boards are, but not everything that has this connector is. So that's why we think this is probably best only for our STEMMA QT boards. Another thing that isn't an issue that we found, but is good to know, is that our boards have a light pull-up to the VIN pin from the I2C data and clock pins. On the SAMD21, it doesn't seem to mind that it's going to float a little bit higher than 3.3 volts, but you can put stronger pull-ups from the SDA and SCL pins here to 3 volts to counteract it. But either way, if you're just plugging in one device, it seems to be just fine, and you can connect OLEDs, connect GPS, you have sensors of various types. It's a great way to extend your MKR boards with our STEMMA QT series.
Okay.
Handy cable.
And next up, the star of the show, besides you, Lady Ada, and our community is?
The Neopixelate M4 Featherwing, which I have to clear off some space here because this demo is so
I'm going to show some photos
big.
of it.
Show some photos. Okay, so first off, this PCB is green because we're still waiting for our primary PCB fab to come back from their Chinese New Year / COVID break. Okay, I'll get my...
You want me to go to the overhead?
Yeah, go for it. Okay, so what does this do? What are you even looking at here? So what you're seeing here is 8 NeoPixel strips of 144 LEDs, and it's like red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, so it's like a lovely rainbow of different colors. And they're all connected to this Feather M4 here, and it's on a doubler with the Featherwing in question here, which is the Neopixelate Featherwing. So let me unplug this and show it. So what this does is it has level shifters on it, and it has connectors that are either Ethernet, or you can have plain GPIO breakouts. And it takes 8 pins from the Feather M4 and level shifts them from 3 volts to 5 volts. And also this works very well. It's designed to work with our Neopixelate library, which uses timer DMA on the SAMD51 so that all those NeoPixels get updated. It happens behind the scenes. So if you want to do animations, control a huge number of pixels, and you don't want that delay, you don't have to use our standard NeoPixel library that's blocking, because you can use the DMA on the SAMD51. It means you can do a lot more like dithering or smooth animations, because you can say, hey, draw these NeoPixels, and then immediately it returns back to the user code, and the DMA goes off and runs on its own, and you can compute and calculate the next hue and saturation limits, or if you have to do animations, or you have to read data from Wi-Fi or Bluetooth and then do some calculations. This is what this Featherwing does. So it has no like microcontroller on it. It's just a level shifter, basically, but it has the right pinouts to make it work great with our Feather M4. So it's a low-cost way to extend your Feather M4 to make it perfect for large-scale NeoPixel projects. We did the math. Given the Feather M4 has 192K of RAM, you can control 16,000 NeoPixels, if you so wished.
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
All right. And with that is...
Yay!
All right, let's do a recap.
Recap new. We have these submersible pumps. They're low-cost fountain pumps, but they're also great for plant watering projects. That's what we think they're good for. Horizontal type, vertical type. We also have some vinyl tubing that goes with them. Not good for human drinkable water projects, but great for plant drinkable water projects. The LiDAR Light V4 from Garmin is a NR52840 chip inside that's Bluetooth and ANT compatible with a IR transmitter receiver pair for distance measurements up to 10 meters. It's got some GPIO exposed as well. You can use an I2C device mode, or you can reprogram that NR52840 inside for more advanced uses. We have this handy 5-pin JST to 4-pin JST SH cable that'll let you plug in our STEMMA QT boards, sensors, displays, GPSs, what have you, into your Arduino MKR board. So handy. You've got an MKR board. It's got that connector. Why don't you plug something in, plug and play, no soldering required. And the star of tonight's show is the Neopixelate M4 Featherwing. Plug this into your Feather M4, and it will give you 8 level shifted outputs that are connected to DMA-capable NeoPixel pins. Use it with our Neopixelate Featherwing library to control up to 16,000 NeoPixels, which is a huge number, and we don't recommend that because it's like going to be heavier than the sun. Or you can just take advantage of the DMA to do advanced animations, data manipulation, so you can send data to those NeoPixels, return immediately, and start calculating the next frame of data for your NeoPixel display. And that was the new products.
Okay, don't forget, NeoWing, any of that stuff you saw in stock, go add it to the cart. This is your Spartan. And you're also supporting a open source effort, a good cause, good business, called Adafruit.
It's true.
Let's remind everybody, we'll see you over in Discord in a few minutes to answer questions, adafruit.it/Discord. But for now, let's do some top secret.
Yeah.
Okay, from the vault.
Open the vault.
We have an expanded series of photos of the new Feather from Arturo and Lady Ada, and it's an NXP-based processor.
Feather M7 RT1011. These are the first prototypes. Again, slightly delayed from COVID, but we're not stopping. Nothing can stop us now. It's got the RT1011, a 500 megahertz Cortex M7 processor. We think this is going to be an amazing Feather to use with CircuitPython. All that speed is going to be great for doing interpretive calculations, and of course you have 128K of RAM, so that's plenty of RAM, external flash, and we even fit a STEMMA QT connector on there.
Okay, next up, here's a rendering of the new, coming soon, clear badge. Mike Dole's designing it for the Adafruit Edge badge.
Edge badge, Pi badge LC.
Yeah.
You want a case for it? We're designing one. Okay. Very early, coming soon.
Then we have 3 different stemmas that are coming soon. Lady Ada, what are they?
Okay, this is the DS1841. So this is an I2C logarithmic potentiometer. We have a linear potentiometer, but all those audio people who are like, oh, I need log for, you know, whatever, my volume output or your VCO, what have you, we're going to have this log pot out. It's a digital, I think, like 256 pot, tap pot, I2C controlled, and of course you can have a couple in a row. I think it's non-volatile too. The Now 7802, I love the Now part. It's a 24-bit ADC. It's designed for connecting to strain gauges and other like high precision sensors. It's very slow. It's only like, you know, maybe 80 samples per second or something, but great for measuring high precision data acquisition targets. And a redesign, this is Rev C now, of the ICM 948. I had to squish all this into 0.7 by 1 inch, but this is a 9DOF sensor from TDK. People really liking this sensor because it's a 9DOF, and it's got a built-in fusion engine, which hopefully we can get working, so you can get quaternion data without having to do any calculation on chip, which is, of course, very exciting.
And that's top secret, back in the vault.
Back in the vault.
Okay, we're going to take some questions over on Discord, adafruit.it/Discord. Join all 16,000 of us. You can hang out there even more not there. I have a
I'm
couple
ready for it.
questions lined up. So I'll just summarize this one. That Garmin sensor, it's a good price, yay. But since it's IR, will it have any issues with sunlight?
I don't know. That's actually a good question for Garmin. They make good sensors, and it's a lens sensor. It probably has automatic gain control and stuff. I mean, I don't know the innards, of course. But if you need details, Garmin has very good tech support. They've been very responsive to all my questions.
Okay. For the water pumps, we put them in coming soon, so they'll be here any moment. No ETA, but they're shipping. They're on their way. Yeah.
They're someplace.
On their way.
They're on their way.
Next up, do gift certificates expire? No, never. We don't think that's good, so we would never do that.
Yeah,
so if you got a
that'd be
gift certificate, it'll work forever until you redeem it.
Or we die.
No, it would still work with.
It would still work, I guess,
We,
so.
If something happened to us, the site would still work.
That's
and everything
true.
would be fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Would the Feather M7 be able to run a small OS such as, I guess it's Xenu?
This I don't know.
Yeah.
You really need to talk to NXP because some operating systems need special memory management units. I don't know what this chip can do with another operating system. All we've tried is CircuitPython.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm making no promises.
Let's see. Will you say hi to Orion's friend, Francesco?
Hi, Francesco.
He's a huge fan.
Hello.
That's fine. All right. Let's see here. Let's see. I think I got all of these questions over here.
Doing great.
This one.
Getting to
this
everything.
one. Yeah. All right. Well, let's give something away, and if there's other questions, we'll get them. We'll see how things go with. We already had one fun thing when all the streaming networks or one of them dies. It usually takes down the other ones, but we recovered right away. Thanks for your patience, everyone. Let's do a giveaway.
Okay.
What do you want to give away this
We're going to
week?
give away one of these LiDAR lights.
Yeah.
IR sensors, yeah.
Okay. What are the rules?
Rules are if you've won something before, you can't win again on this show. Only one winner per my lifetime. So if you've won something before, please sit on your hands and don't call in. Even if nobody's calling in, just don't call in.
Yeah. What we do is we just save it up.
We just save it for next week. The first person to call a phone and answer the 3 magical questions will win the prize, which is a LiDAR Light V4. The questions are, what's your name, where you calling from, and what's a project you're working on, or you want to work on. And you will win a LiDAR light. Very handy. Garmin distance sensor, good up to 10 meters.
Yeah.
I2C.
That's the
Easy to
phone
use.
number. You have to decipher it.
Decipher it using your
but
your
I also,
math numbers.
I also posted in the chat. So
Yeah.
That's what I
They
did
can do it.
Yeah.
We got the phone back up and running, everybody, so
Looks like we did.
call in. Do you want me to pick up, see if there's a dial tone?
No. I think there is.
I think there is.
And then as we're waiting, I will.
Call in to win.
Yeah.
Call
let's see.
in to win.
Sometimes the different chat rooms doesn't let me.
We don't
post
give up.
phone numbers. Well, let's see. Give everybody another minute, but I'm gonna hit questions back in a second too. Okay. Let's see. Has China started shipping again since the extension of Chinese New Year? Do the virus or just slow things down? Yeah. Things have started shipping, and it did slow things down. And some of
For a few weeks.
Yeah, and some companies that do electronics
Like a
said
month.
their capacity is not 100%, not because they can't, but because they've diverted some of their resources to doing manufacturing for the Chinese government for things like, devices that look at temperature of people and stuff
Yeah.
like that. All right, I'm gonna give it like one more minute, and then that's gonna be it.
I don't want to pick up, but
No,
then
don't pick
they're
up.
going to call at the
No,
time
don't
to pick up.
Don't pick up.
It's plugged in.
Everything's plugged in. Everything's fine. We just did it.
Maybe nobody wants this LiDAR.
That's fine.
Oh,
This is how it always goes. You have to be. You can't pick it up.
okay, I'm going to pick it up.
Now you can pick it up.
Hello, congratulations. You've called Ask Engineer and you're the winner.
Oh, yay!
Yay, what's your name and where you calling from?
Chad, I'm calling from Saskatoon, Canada.
From Canada. What's your name again?
Chad?
Jack? Okay. Well, congratulations. You've won a LiDAR light from us, Adafruit. All you have to do to claim your prize is email support@adafruit.com and say you're Jack from Canada or whatever your name is because I couldn't quite make it out. And ask for product number 4441 and they will send that out to you. Even international, not a problem.
Yay!
Yay. Well, what's a project you're working on or you want to work on?
I am currently using LiDAR to find parts on a CNC mill.
Okay. Well, then this
That's
might
gonna
be a
work out.
handy device for you. Maybe it's precise enough. I don't know.
Yeah!
Okay.
Hopefully.
All right. Well, all you have to do is email support Adafruit to get your free part And when you build your CNC mill, come by, show and tell, and show it off. We would love to see it.
Congrats, Jack.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, congratulations. And have a good night. Bye. Easy.
All right.
Okay.
So I put the question thing up, but that's fine because we were doing trivia question.
It's still a
I
question.
still have questions. So
Okay.
I can answer this one because someone just asked. Can someone like me post a request on the job board? I have a specific programming test and I need that's way beyond me, and I'd be willing to pay someone to take it on. Exactly. Dan, who's asked that, that's exactly why we made the jobs board.
Exactly.
We always, when you post a job, it's not automatically approved. Myself or Lady Ada will look at it to make sure it's not a scammer or spammer.
Yep.
And then it's released usually within a few minutes because it's like, this is all we do. And then you'll be able to get people to contact you via the jobs board, and they'll say, oh, I have that skill set, I want to do that. So yeah, that's
I
exactly
actually
how it
believe in
works.
skill exchange too. I think people should say, hey, if you're interested in helping with I could help somebody with a 3D printing or molding project. Somebody wants to help me with a coding project. That's a great way to make new friends.
Some people, just because you see companies on there, it's actually individuals. If you scroll, put the old ones, folks will say like, my company LLC. That's usually
Yeah.
not a real name.
Yeah.
But yeah, individuals can do that too. And that's always worked out well. We've heard a lot of success stories. The other question that came up is if a robocall called the number, would they win the prize? Only if they answered all the
They
questions
have
and
to
did everything.
answer the
Yeah.
questions. If they're a good enough robot that they can answer those 3 questions,
Yeah, it'd be fun. You could probably train a robot to do it. That's not a hard.
okay.
Hard
They also
thing
have
to
to
do.
email support. Like, I'm not going to email support for them.
Yeah, no, they could win.
They have to do a bunch of
But
stuff.
that I think one of the things.
There's no rule that says it has to be human.
No, I think one of the things that
Be
there was that
bored.
Google demo where it called and tried to make a reservation.
What happened to that?
I think everyone agreed they didn't like that. But so I haven't seen that demo again. But I think that would be kind of a fun project for someone to do eventually, is to have enough voice recognition. Because this is a very specific trained data set you can do. You can listen to every single time we answered the phone, what you asked, what you did. This is doable.
There's a good amount of data for training. I agree.
Yeah.
All right, Neural, net me up.
Okay. All right,
thanks,
everybody.
everybody.
That's our show for the night. Thank you so much. Thank you for making this a fantastic hour together. Please use code NEOWING. That'll get you 10% off all the way up to midnight tonight. We'll see everybody next week. We're here every Wednesday, 8 p.m. for Ask an Engineer. Every Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern for Show and Tell. Now, Pedro's show is next week, Wednesday at 11 a.m. Tomorrow, JP's show at 4 p.m. Eastern. Thank you so much, everyone, in the Adafruit chat behind the scenes. Let's see who's there tonight. It is Jessie May.
Hey, Jessie May.
Thank you, Jessie May. Thank you to all the Adafruit team members that are here in New York City and all our remote team members. Thank you to all of our Adafruit community members and the folks who help out in Discord and all the chats and everything. And special thanks for continuing to make us a company that can stay independent and being a good cause and a good business. We will
A lot of people out there are jealous of it.
Well,
They want to destroy us.
well, I think we'll keep doing this, and that's okay. I think we've shown our work along the way, and there's lots of ways you can run a company. I think this is a good way to run a company.
I think so,
You
too.
can be a top company in your industry and space, and you can do it the right way.
It's possible.
And the electronics and electronic component world, it's a dirty, gross business and a dirty, gross industry for lots of reasons. It's an old school thing, but I think we've brought something new to it. And every single week when I see companies like DigiKey have Girls Who Code Night and doing stuff for Engineers Week,
It's so inspiring.
and I could see the impact that Adafruit has, that companies like DigiKey have, all these open source companies. We're all kind of like doing skateboard tricks, looking over there. That's a cool trick. That's a cool trick, and we're bringing this together.
Yeah.
So thank you everybody who's making this thing happen. I think we can show that the technology industry doesn't have to be super jerky. It could be okay. It could be good. So we'll see everybody next week.
Thanks, everybody. See you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Here's your moment of Xena.